end looks like, but God has something in store for me. So before there is elevation, before God shows us where we are going, there has to be evaluation. Look at your neighbor, say evaluation. So it is in the natural, it is in the spiritual. See, in the natural, you cannot be effectively promoted until you have been what? Evaluated. Your boss pulls you in and says, look, I've been looking at you for the past couple months, years, however long it's been, and you've been operating and you've been doing the good thing, and so now I'm getting ready to promote you to the next what? Level. And so now, so it is in the spiritual. God is looking at us. He's seeing us. In fact, 1 Peter 3:12 says, for the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayers. In fact, Proverbs 15:3 says, for the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, and he seeth all of their goings. You have to understand that God is watching you. He's looking at you. He's seeing how you're operating on the level that you're already on. He's seeing if you're using the things that he's already given you. Come on, somebody. And so there has to be evaluation. In fact, let me tell you this quick story. When I was growing up, I used to play this game called Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. It was on PlayStation 1. Many of you guys may not remember it, but if we got any 18 to 26 PlayStation 1, I don't know if y'all remember that, but there was this game called Lara Croft, and the point of the game was to complete the level and go to the next level. You were to kill all the people, grab all the money, grab all the lives, and go to the next level. Now, at the end of the level, there was a door. And you know you had completed the level because the door would automatically open. You missed it. And so if you got to the door and the door did not automatically open, that signified that you had not completed the level that you were on. And so then you had to go back around. Go back through that long level. It took hours upon hours to make sure that you had completed the level. And when you know you had got everything and you stood at the door and said, I know this door gonna open. I know I'm getting ready to go to the next level. And the door did not open. Man, why is this door not opening? But you have to understand that you have to use what's already on the level. And that's what God is trying to teach us today. He says, I'm not going to elevate you. I'm not going to take you higher until you use what's in your environment. He says, how am I going to give you more when I can't even trust you with the little that you have now? But I believe Jesus mastered in using the little that he had. What are you talking about? You remember the Canaanite wedding. In fact, I believe Mary was a wedding planner because she got upset because there was no wine left in the wedding. So she pulls Jesus to the back kitchen and says, look, bro, I need you to do something for me. She says, look, the wine has run out and I need you to put more wine in. Jesus looks at his mother and said, it's not my time. This is not me right now. And Mary looks back at Jesus and says, look, player, I don't ask you for much, but the little that I do ask, I need you to do this for me right now. Jesus looks around in his environment, sees a couple wineskins over in the corner, and he says, come here, servants, grab those wineskins in my environment. And he says, pour water in them, and the more water you pour in, the more wine is going to come out. Jesus was a master at using what he already had. In fact, he told a parable. He told a parable about talents. Many of you know the parable of the talents. There were 3 servants and a king. The king was getting ready to go on vacation for the month of October. And so he told the servants to come here. He said, servants, I'm getting ready to go on vacation. But there are a couple things that I need for you to do. He says, the first servant came up to him and says, I'm getting ready to give you 5 talents. He gave the first servant 5 talents. He says, now look, where's the second servant? Second servant comes up. He says, I'm giving you 2 talents. He gives the servant 2 talents. The third servant, he gives 1 talent. The king goes off on vacation, comes back. He says, okay, now where are the servants that I gave the talents to? The servants come up and says, you know what, king? The first servant stands before the king and said, king, I know that you gave me 5 talents, but I worked what you gave me. I worked what I already had, and I gave you 10 talents. The king began to smile and said, you've been faithful over a few things. Now I'm getting ready to make you ruler over many things. The second servant came before the king and said, I know you gave me 2 talents, but I worked what you gave me, and now I have 4 talents for you. The king, with a smile on his face, said, you've been faithful over a few things. Now I'm getting ready to make you ruler over many things. The third servant came before the king and said, King, I know how you act. He says, you like to reap a harvest in a field that you have not sown. So I kept the talent and I didn't do anything with it. And so the king got upset and angry at the third servant. What's the moral of the story? Jesus is literally saying, what are you going to do with what I give you? How are you going to act with the little that I give you? Can I trust you with the little that you have right now? Is there anybody that can come in and testify that you don't have much? You don't have a house on a hill. You don't have a $45,000 car, but you can still enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Look, I ain't got a $500,000 car, but the little house that I do have has kept me out of the storm. Look, I ain't got a $30,000 car, but the little car that I do have has kept me rolling year after year after year. Is there anybody that can testify, God, I thank you for the little that you gave me. God, I know I don't have much, but in this economy, God, I'll be thankful for what I do have. Come on, can we just take a few minutes and give God some praise for the little that we have? Oh, come on, y'all act like y'all done had it all the entire time. But you can look back over your life and testify, God, I thank you for the little. God, if it wasn't for the little, I wouldn't know how to appreciate